Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here, welcome you all back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Slam Basketball, aka Mario Hoops 3-on-3 for those of you who lived in North America, and in Japan, Mario Basketball 3-on-3 for the Nintendo DS. So, yesterday we have managed able to complete the final tourney from the likes of the forms of the normal difficulty of the actual tourney mode, and that's what appears to be the Rainbow Tourney. And today, we're about to begin the second half in terms of the forms of tourney mode, and that we're about to be hitting back onto the Mushroom Tourney Cup, but except the fact that this time we're now going to be taking on the hard difficulty setting. So this means about the fact that the computer players are now going to get aggressively difficult as far as progression itself goes. But either way, for this particular three characters we might as well choose this time, which we do have Ninja, White Mage, and lastly Black Mage. In this case, the majority of the Final Fantasy characters. So yeah, that'll be interesting to be able to actually choose those three characters combined into one. So either way though, we can figure we can able to actually show those guys off. So during the gameplay and all that stuff. So yeah, let's begin. The Mushroom Tourney again, except now it's on hard mode. So rather than the forms of the normal run through, so of course, we first up against with Bowser, Bowser Jr., and Diddy Kong to start with. So, now of course, we're going to be experiencing exactly the same courts as before, except as you can tell, we've now actually changed the actual, a different cosmetic basketball, which appears to be by the forms of the Silver Ball. So, if I recall correctly, in order to able to unlock it, you have to simply obtain 2,000 points in total, so based on the forms of your rankings. So, well, I'm not exactly sure how the ranking system works, if those of you really want able to play the game for yourself or something like that, but either way, though, that might be some consumption. So yeah, today's date is of course the 15th of January today, in this case in 2023 today, and naturally speaking until tomorrow, we're now on to the halfway point in terms of January. So because of this though, yeah, I was very quite intrigued about the fact that certain times have been gone slightly faster than ever before, and relatively speaking though, that's as far as I can usually try to say about this, so but I digress. So yeah, about what the forms about the fact the matter is though, we've almost nearly at the end in terms of the forms of Space Tour for the sake of Mario Kart Tour so far. Well, I suppose that about the fact that one thing that I suppose that Maxi has already mentioned about this, I think anyway, or perhaps even maybe that Sonic has already mentioned about this ever since in Ape Escape Let's Play so far, that he did say about the fact that he might find the Wii version of the Rainbow Road felt a bit lackluster in Mario Kart Tour, just because of not only because of its short length, but it's also about the fact that they've come across into ourselves with the forms of that particular decision for able to have only 2 sections in one particular full lap, which as a result though, apparently though, that we're not the only one complaining about the forms of that system, but it turns out that everyone else also complains about that as well, especially if you're a huge fan of the forms of the Wii version of Rainbow Road based off of Mario Kart Wii, ever since in 2008, or to be more specifically, roughly 15 years ago. So, either way though, hopefully that, when Mario Kart 8's deluxe variation of that particular Rainbow Road will actually bring back, hopefully though, it will not be divided into sections, hopefully. So, because if it does, then it will take a lot of people off, especially because, well, everyone else is very looking forward to able to revisiting that particular familiar track again, except with the forms of, well, lesser amounts of racers on screen. So, meaning like, 8 racers to able to compete in, so yeah, but that's as far as I was going to be thinking about the same thing, but we shall see what happens until by the end of this year in December, so yeah, that'll be my honest guess for likely to able to predicting for that point, so But yeah, as far as I'm aware, is the fact that one thing, as you probably already saw from earlier with Go, that every now and then that we're now able to actually realize that we need to able to start utilizing the special shots. So just to ensure that you will able to actually get a ridiculous amount of points if you manage to pull this off. And on top of all that stuff, though, is the fact that, as you can tell, that obviously we're going to be able to just, well, trying to focus here, because obviously that, again, certain computer players are going to get a lot more aggressive this time around, especially because, well, obviously about the fact that not only they're trying to keep on blocking you, but also, as you can tell, that I believe, I think you might lose a couple of coins, I'm presuming so, if you get hit by not only certain items or anything else to be more specific. So either way, that might be saying something, so... oh, right in. So hopefully we'll guaranteed able to get ourselves the gold trophy no matter what. Actually, kind of think about it though, Mighty, is the fact that one thing I actually realized is the fact that we don't necessarily need to worry about the forms of getting a gold trophy every now and then. Especially, well, if you really want to go for a full completion playthrough, then by all means give it a shot. Especially that you might get ourselves the actual cosmetic stuff anyway. Because as far as I'm aware, whenever we get ourselves the bronze trophy in this entire cup, then naturally you get yourselves a new playable character, and that's about it basically. So either way though, but we shall see. So, really? I was gonna expect able to use the special move, you gosh darn chimpanzee Diddy Kong, but hey, at least we did pull this off, so... And by the way, in order to able to activate the special shot as Ninja, you have to simply tap the actual specific spots on the touchscreen that's spelled N. Now, as far as I'm aware, compared to White Mage and Black Mage, that both managed able to have a star-shaped top touchscreen shape. So, yeah, it might be a bit tricky to pull this off, especially considering about the fact that, well, it might take a bit of some time to get used to of trying to memorize, you know, the forms of the shapes anyway. But either way, though, that might be saying something, so... But I digress. So let's just get that basket in. So, yeah, looks like we're doing quite well and all that stuff. Even though, thankfully, though, the mushroom tourney is actually pretty easy and self-explanatory. However, whenever we get to the flower tourney, especially with the star tourney, essentially, and heck, even with the forms of the rainbow tourney as well, it actually gets a lot harder, mainly because of the forms of a lot of emphasis on stage hazards, and on top of that, with the annoying gimmick like the forms of that particular, trying to get that darn basketball right into the PD Piranha himself. And on top of that, with the forms of a lot of chaotic moments in Bowser's Castle coming up. So, but obviously we've already explained a lot of details about every single stages in the game, so I don't feel like we can able to actually try to explain this again. Although apart from the fact that we're still missing a couple of stages, which again we'll point things out whenever we well, let's just say, after we're done with the forms of the Tourney mode, we can able to actually just to go ahead and experience certain unlockables as far as this game is concerned. Although, mind you, it might actually take a bit of a while to able to actually get this process going, so yeah, that'll be my only reason for that, so... And let's see if we can able to block... Okay, whatever. But what's the point, Bowser Jr., because the match is already over, and plus, we win, so... Yay! Too easy. Piece of cake, I suppose. Well, despite the fact that, again, the computer players are gonna get tougher at this rate, so... Yeah, nicely done for, well, Mario Stadium, as far as the first stadium is concerned. And now let's go ahead and get on to round 2. We face off against with Paratrooper, Fly Guy, and Yoshi. Almost every single flying-based characters, with only one particular exception. That's what appears to be Boo. So imagine about the fact that if those 3 flying type characters are actually coming to play, then it'll make the actual game a bit more interesting. And also I just realized is the fact that both Fly Guy and Yoshi do have their different colors. I wonder what that's all about, huh? Oh yeah, because much like the forms of Peach and Daisy, as well as the forms of the other 3 characters until later on, that basically does the fact that you could able to realize that there's going to be another costume change. So, relatively speaking though, I think if I recall correctly, until when we get to the point, until whenever we go into Flower Tourney and stuff like that, I believe if you do manage to able to achieve the silver trophy on the flower cup on hard mode, then I believe we were able to actually get something related to Yoshi's costume change. At least if I recall for that particular description for it. So, anywho, so a few things I want to explain while this is happening is the fact that, well, recently we do somehow realize about the fact that we actually have a slight change from the likes of our Nintendo Wii game collection, because I was first thought that we are basically completely done in terms of the Wii collection, stuff like that. But we do found out for one thing in mind, is the fact that unfortunately though, we've decided able to no longer have Rabbids Go Home for the Nintendo Wii version. Although don't get me wrong, I did have a good time with the game back in the day, but at this point in time I think I'm now pretty much used to playing Mario Plus Rabbids series like at all times in my opinion, because of not only for its Mario fans, but also because about the fact I just really love the humor on the forms of the Mario Plus Rabbids games a lot more. Mainly because about the fact that I just really love the actual character interactions with you know, Mario and the Rabbids and stuff like that. Actually, speaking of Mario Plus Rabbids though, if I recall correctly, that remember the forms of that particular voice of Rabbid Mario from the likes of the forms of Sparks of Hope? Well, apparently it turns out about the fact that that particular voice sounds familiar to me, doesn't it? Well, if he was referring to as something, that also means that, yes, apparently that Mario, Rabbids Mario's voice is actually the exactly the same voice as Rayman's voice. Yeah, believe it or not though, I thought to myself that was a little bit strange at first, but I found it was quite intriguing to be able to actually see that particular familiar voice or something like that. Even though, mind you, it's been quite a few days since we've last played Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, because obviously we're still waiting for some DLC to be coming. But hopefully we'll get the first one and do it at some point in the spring, and hopefully I'll be back for more new forms of Sparks of Hope eventually. So yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. So yeah, because of this though, well, we somehow did the Let's Play of Rabbids Go Home ever since in 2018, if I recall correctly. So either way though, because that might be something else entirely as far as, well, still we enjoyed the game still back in the day, but things has to move on now, because obviously I'm now used to with Mario Plus Rabbids games, so, but that's just me. And on top of all that stuff though is the fact that, well, speaking of which though, the replacement of Rabbids Go Home on the Wii, we decided able to actually get ourselves Sega Superstars Tennis for the Wii, because of die-hard Sonic fans as far as we are most likely concerned. And on top of that, not only do we get ourselves the forms of the Wii version of Sega Superstars Tennis, able to complete the entire Sonic games collection for the Nintendo Wii system. And on top of all that stuff though, thankfully there's actually a classic controller option for the likes of the forms of the Wii version of the game. But also we've managed able to buy ourselves the PS3 version just for the sake of completed PS3 game collections for Sonic games as far as I'm aware. And finally, we managed able to brought back the Xbox 360 version, except the biggest difference is this time that we no longer have ourselves this out of place logo for the likes of the forms of, dang it, the explosion range just somehow attacked me from behind. Of course they scored. Oh well, no big deal, but at the very least we really up ahead as far as I'm aware, so yeah, that might be saying something, so. Alright, so let's get this basketball in and get even more points on top of that. So, yeah, because that's how about the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that we decided able to get, well, as far as I'm aware, in terms of getting the forms of Sega Superstar. Oh, really? You got a lucky shot for that charged up shot. God dang, that fly guy was actually quite clever as far as, you know, shots are concerned. Anywho though, so at the end of the day though, that we've managed able to obtain every 5 versions of Sega Superstars Tennis now. Yeah, because I was first thought that back in the day, that it was definitely one of my least favorite Sega crossover games in the past. But as far as trying to able to give the actual game a second chance after the events of likely 15 years ago, since when it first came out in 2008 for a multitude of platforms, that will give the actual game a better chance than the forms of how it does it on back in the day. Because after all, we've already got the PlayStation 2 version and also the DS version. In fact, kind of believe about it, that the DS version is when I first experienced Sega Superstars Tennis to begin with, like playing the game on portable and stuff like that. Although it's been a very long time since we've last played the DS version of Sega Superstars Tennis. But back in the day though, as far as what Sonic did actually told me something, that apparently though we somehow obtained the bootleg version of it, which as a result, it only works on the regular DS model, but as far as whenever we do test it out on the actual DSi, obviously it might not work, because obviously bootleg games is not compatible with DSi or DSi XL. So now we've got ourselves the proper version of the proper copy version of the game, so it also means about the fact that I can enjoy the game even more now, so... And god dang it, Yoshi, you did somehow manage to get to the basket before we decide to attack you, so... Oh well, because obviously this match is almost over, so let's just end things off with a charge shot, and apparently it doesn't go in, because I think Yoshi just somehow got the ball, so... Oh well. At least we still win, though. Because yeah, kind of thinking about it, Koopa Beach is actually self-explanatory as far as, you know, this stage is concerned, when it comes to obtaining a whole bunch of coins after all, but hey. Alright, on to the finals we go. Here we go, first up against with Donkey Kong, Peach, and Luigi in Peach Field for the final time. So, because after this though, we can pretty much guarantee that we'll move on to the forms of, well, the next cup eventually, enjoying at some point in next couple of weekends later. So, yeah, I can't believe by saying this about the fact that we're actually getting very close towards the end of this game, basically. And afterwards, though, we'll pretty much get out able to take a break on, well, some Mario spin-off games for a while. Well, I don't know about you, but either way, let's just go ahead and get this basketball into this basket as we go. And also something's worth mentioning, though, is the fact that one thing we didn't actually mention about this is the fact that certain character models in this game, to be more specifically with Mario and the rest of the crew, basically though is the fact that certain models will be reused until this Japanese exclusive Monopoly-based party game called Edoki Street DS. That basically though, because it has the exactly the same well, let's just say Nintendo and Square Enix developer, except the fact that the biggest differences between these two games is that Mario Slam Basketball features Final Fantasy characters, and then in the Edoki Street DS, basically it features not only certain Mario characters, but also the Dragon Quest selections of characters, including Slime himself. Yeah, which later become a thing until we finally got the actual the Wii game localized until in 2012 in the UK, and then in North America 2011. So, oh, lucky shot, Peach. Jeez. But that's okay, because hopefully we can able to, like, get the insane amount of points as the others do. So, either way, that might be saying something. Ah, dang it. But, yeah, I think for the most part, I think that's as far as I can try to explain about this to you guys. I mean, I was expecting if I was trying to able to get myself certain Sonic games for PlayStation 5, but it's not likely, because as a result, well, I don't know about you, because it's been, oh wait a minute, something tells me, yep, Luigi just somehow blocks Black Mage's way. But that's okay though, because hopefully we'll try to get as many of those coins as we could, and duck it into the basket, and there we go. 66! 66 points entirely. Wow, I don't know about you, because either way, that's all I could really think about it. Oh, and also, do you notice about the fact that in a Japanese anime called Pokemon Aim to be the Pokemon Master anime, does manage to get themselves this opening sequence, which I know for the fact that it already came out in Japan for about 2 days ago. And as a result, I really do like the feature where it shows us the entire montage of Ash Ketchum and Pikachu's past adventures from the likes of Generation 1 all the way up to Generation 8, which I will say, it does look pretty satisfying to able to see how that's gonna turn out, especially because since that, you know, Generation 9 anime has already become existence right now, but either way though, it kind of feels a bit similar to the forms of how it does in, like, think of like Ash Ketchum and Pikachu's animated adventures in the past, feels like kind of similar to the Hudson Soft Mario Party titles within, like, you know, Mario Party 1 all the way up to Mario Party 8, but then until, like, Mario Party 9, it's moved on to a different developer, whilst in Generation 9 anime, it's gonna replace Ash, Ketchum, and Pikachu into some different characters else, so, yeah, it's kind of similar for that regard, so, but I have no idea why I pointed things out for the sake of time, so. Anyway, so now let's move on to the second period of, well, this particular court itself, so. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, it's just about the fact the matter is, though, when it comes to, like, Wii U Virtual Console selections, as far as I'm aware, that, again, it's a bit of a shame about the fact that not only that Super Princess Peach didn't actually make it to the forms of the Wii Virtual Console re-release, but also say applies to Mario vs. Donkey Kong Mini Land Mayhem, and also say applies with Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and there's also the forms of the Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games duology games on the DS, and say applies to Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, Sonic Colors on the DS, and also say applies to the forms of WarioWare Do-It-Yourself, and also Kirby Superstar Ultra, and heck, even especially noticeable with the forms of the Kingdom Hearts games as well, with 358 over 2 days, as well as Recoded, and also Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll, and Okami Den, essentially, because, again, it's a bit of a shame about the fact that I think the only reason why we haven't got that much DS game selections on the Virtual Console lineup is most likely because, you know, the Wii U is a massive flop at the end, so. Although we were expecting that we can able to mention more about the forms of the sales numbers update for the Nintendo Switch games and all that stuff, but that wasn't until whatever we get to next month that it will happen. So yeah, that might be something we'll save that conversation and during that time. Or perhaps even maybe, if Maxi were able to point things out, if he ever goes back onto Donkey Kong 64 for the majority of the forms of this month, alongside with February as well. So yeah, that might be saying something as far as this is concerned. But yeah, for the most part, guys, I think that's as far as we can able to explain about the forms of today's discussion, although we would have liked able to mention more details about other stuff in the future, but I think that's as far as we can say about it. Well, me too, especially considering about the fact that, well, I can't believe about the fact the matter is, though, is that, well, despite the fact that we actually onto almost to the point until the halfway point in terms of January already, I mean, time flies, you know? But I digress. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say about the forms of today's discussion for this point, guys. So, and also kind of thinking about it, Peach Field is also self-explanatory as far as the stage itself goes. Well, despite the fact that we just somehow managed able to keep on getting screwed over by not only by the forms of certain computer players' aggressive behavior, but also every time whenever they do manage to get ourselves a random item, basically though is the fact that they get ourselves a Starman at the end. So, yeah, it seems a little bit more. Oh, nice shot at the end! And it's a perfect thing too, because obviously the time is up, so that means about the fact that we can able to just become the ultimate victor. Well, again, my dear, it's just about the fact the matter is, though, until the later cups and beyond, it gets a bit tough and difficult, though, probably because of the computer player behavior, so. There we go, folks, that pretty much concludes the Mushroom Tourney for the second time, except on hard mode. So because of this, though, yeah, we once again claim ourselves the glorious golden trophy once again. So this also means not only do we get ourselves a new playable character, but also, I think if I recall, you do get 2 special balls, so in some cases we've unlocked Bodo, so that'll be interesting to select her. and also new colored ball, which means that, yeah, we're gonna be able to get ourselves 2 of those colored balls throughout. So, yeah, in fact, that we shall see about this right now. So, in some cases, though, we got ourselves the... Is that supposed to be a football? And also we got ourselves a cheap ball? Interesting. But I think we should probably go for a football, basketball to make things a little bit strange. So, anyway, so I think suffice to say, we'll pretty much get the endings off here. So join us next weekend for more of Let's Play of Mario Slam Basketball. And it's the fact that we'll move on to Flower Tourney again, except on hard mode. So, wish us luck again, because Daisy Garden might screw us up again. So, we'll see you guys until next Saturday.